battle. If you're able to squeak this win out, then you put yourself into much better standings as far as the overall standings are going to go. You up that, win-loss percentage. So it's a pretty good situation. You're able to bring it away. But on top of that, I kind of want to stray away from records and go kind of into what these teams are going to be bringing to the table. We're starting to see some brawl as a little bit of a fun composition as St. John's comes out at first, but the points that we have, the maps that we have over the day heavily favor verticality and mobility.
They really do. We already see verticality and mobility come out from one of the teams, and it's not Canisius. Canisius going in with a very heavy brawl, a very heavy rush brawl even. There's going to be a Wrecking Ball throwing wrenches in their plans.
Yeah, ITG looking to be a little bit of a shake up here in the back, but a good bubble comes through from Canisius, and Tiger gonna be able to save everybody there and get a little bit of that ult charge going. But it's really up to ITG to displace the brawl here and figure out a way to grab an opening for Rich with the immortality field down. The Echo feeling a little bit more zealous. There goes the focus beam, but the shield is there. So Canisius College, although they lose one on the back end, still able to keep themselves in the fight and did take first control over the point. So it's a stall battle here as they go down 2 members. Just able to find another kill for St. John's, and Canisius College able to take that first take, put a little bit on the board, but other than that, they're going to have to concede to a team with a bit of an ult thing.
Yeah, it's not looking great for Canisius in terms of ults, but they got some percentage on the board. That's at least something to work with. It is natural for these fights to go a bit longer, and then St. John's coming out on top in the end, because they need some time to get those openings, some ultimates, to get the damage in, poking from the sides. They have to surround their enemy. They can't just go straight up. That's when Canisius wins. But Canisius now swapping it out. Winston and Roadhog coming out, the tank line, and Jumanji over on that McCree will make sure that they have a little bit more control, but not for Infamy.
Yeah, Rich is able to find 2 off of the bat, and that's going to be pretty much it. Primal Rage off of the Echo is going to secure the last couple of kills that they need. And, St. John's doing a really good job of keeping control without having to use too much. They only use 1 ultimate in that encounter.
And it was a classic dive, high ground, fall down, still have all your cooldowns left, and just burst that damage through. Now they'll have a minefield for extra area control. The big flux is coming close. It's basically everything but the duplicate, and they already get the sticky bombs out.
Yeah, they're gonna waste no time in showing Canisius College who's boss as they expend 3 ultimates to make that work. You've got the amplification matrix for the Deadeye, as well as those minefields to keep everybody from Canisius a bit distracted. But Special K gonna have to hide away for a little while. Ultimate's now coming online for Canisius though.
Canisius finally in a position to actually start fighting back, but they still have to get there first, and so far they're being poked down so heavily from range. They're not really getting close without any damage. And Jumanji almost going down. Yeah, Spudinator Jumanji, they'll fall again.
Yeah, it would have been big if the hook had landed, but Rich still just destroying on this Echo. And there goes the Roadhog back to spawn, taken away by their own ultimate. So Rich going to be able to do a pretty good job here as well. And for St. John's, beautiful play by the all-around team. You can see Slurpee, she's still holding on to this Valkyrie just for when St. John's get a little bit too aggressive.
Yeah, he doesn't even need to use it. It's just conservative play, but rightfully so. And 3 of those fights were basically decided by Sticky Bomb, Wrecking Ball, done.
Yeah.
It's a very, very classic combo. I'm not saying it's easy to pull off, but if you have some semblance of, team synergy and know where your Wrecking Ball is, you need to either shut down the Wrecking Ball or have those sticky bombs not land for that combo not to work. Because Rich throwing out those sticky bombs onto either Spudinator or Jumanji, which kept on happening, the ITG just rolls in with just a roll, then a slam. It's too much damage. You cannot out-heal that. You need to somehow protect them with the bubble, with the matrix, with anything like that for them to survive, and it just wasn't possible for Canisius.
Well, they're going to go a little bit back to their dive with putting Infamy back onto the Reinhardt, so the poke won't be as viable. You see the initial mines coming out from Rich aren't going to find much value at all, but St. John's University not going to be going the complete dive that they went last time. They are going to be putting ITG onto that shielded roll. We'll find the first anti-charge into Infamy, but Infamy's kept alive by the immortality field as Rich able to take that out of the equation quickly. St. John's still kind of vying for a position as they put Rich into the high ground above the team. Still isn't able to find a kill as the heals for Canisius College are continuing to be exactly what what they need to be. St. John's University, however, a little bit low on HP as they commit Coalescence from Llama Lizard into the fight to get a little bit of extra oomph to their boot. ITG able to find the kill off of the back of Coalescence, and now it's just a dinner bell that's been rung for St. John's University as they take the point first and clean up the kills. Oh!
St. John's. Going for the early duplicate, trying to get that follow-up maybe. I mean, they're pretty safe. It's an Echo. They even got the ultimate online. Just take out Spudinator. This is not a game anymore. This is, well, I mean, it's a game for St. John's, but at this point, Canisius are just a toy to play with.
Yeah, Canisius really need to bring something big online if they want to get back onto this point. That early kill from ITG onto Tiger, or that late kill, I should say. Gonna kind of stagger their
early or late.
Approach.
It's really
yeah.
really debate at this stage. Is it early or late? It's really weird. But yeah, at least they're back on 6. They can actually try and go on. And you see Jumanji doing so much effort to getting Rich out of the sky, and Rich not even supported by Mercy this time around.
And that charge gonna displace the shield just enough to get them exactly what they needed. Infamy survives the charge from long and grabs the health pack as well, but a Coalescence from Llama Lizard going to keep the Reinhardt in the fight and allow him to swing hammer, so Reinhardt will go burr, and ITG finds 2. Canisius College with a full bank of ultimates, but no real opening to put any of those onto the field. Need to find some sort of crack in the armor of St. John's University if they want to get the ball rolling in their favor.
It's 5 ultimates. It's really now or never. Not because of the point percentage that also is fairly far away, but you do need to get a fight in. You need to get some eliminations. Definitely just don't be the first to get picked off.
Well, a good shield to start, followed by an amazing shatter. Is able to find what it needs to do. Put it into the back. Is going to give a quick Deadeye over to Rich. Is going to be taken out on that. McCrease was able to dish it out into the fight, but it's Canisius College have already rounded the corner. A good dodge comes through from Spudinator to delay the inevitable for a short time as Jumanji takes the fight. But he's going to have to deal with full health Echo once they come out of that, so it's going to be a great story to be told. Control percentage has gone over to Canisius, but presence is still there from St. John's, and when respawns come back, there will be a toll to be paid.
Canisius in a great spot, honestly, because they took over the point, but they've kind of been split from their spawn. They're so cut off from respawns and from their teammates that are getting back to the fight. It's not a great show. I mean, they got to the objective, but only partially, and the rest is being picked off in the back. And they see Spudinator once again, just in spawn, sticky bombs.
It's a difficult situation. You gotta be able to take that Echo out of the sky, or else they just really get free reign. And oh, the up high Roadhog gets the first hook to 57, able to get the heal up to put the whole hog online immediately. Most of the members of Canisius College are going to be able to get out of the situation of the whole hog, but it's straight into the jaws of the rest of St. John's. So although Infamy is getting a little bit of stall here on the point, it's going to be a bit of a moot effort as St. John's set an alarming pace for the beginning of our round.
This might be the quickest one we've had so far, but definitely a great showing from St. John's. Interesting to see the Wrecking Ball come out from Canisius at the end. It was, of course, a stall effort, but if you think about it, the Wrecking Ball can be very tricky to hit, especially for an Echo. So, might be something they can go over for the next map, Numbani, which would serve it well. But that's getting a hit a bit ahead of ourselves. The first watch of this beautiful play of the game from Rich. See it coming out, the sticky bombs, immediately the stomp from ITG, and then finish off with Focus Beam. It's such a normal combo because you know you're going to be overdoing it in the damage department. So even if you miss a little bit, you'll still get enough value in total, and that's what they exploited.
Yeah, and as we go into Numbani, for Canisius College, you're sitting there in the locker room kind of talking about what are our options to kind of shut down that aerial threat, because they did a decent job at keeping the rest of St. John's kind of under ropes for a lot of those team fights, and then the Echo would come in and a big sticky or a big focus beam just completely dismantled what Canisius was trying to bring to the table. So dealing with that aerial threat, for me, I think if I'm playing for Canisius, that's number 1 on my hit list.
It is, but then you also got to wonder if the aerial threat is really the only thing going on, because if maybe they weren't able to focus the aerial threat, or while they're focusing on the aerial threat, the rest of the team still finds value. Like, it's the same thing we always say about Pharahs, and it's the same for Echoes. What do you do? Do you try to invest everything to focus on that Echo or Pharah in order to get them out of the sky and then win the ground fight? Or do you just ignore the Echo / Pharah, then go for the ground fight, win that, and then worry about the threat from the sky? Or do you mirror match it? That's the other option, right? So you can go for a duel or try and get as much value at the same time. And I don't think any of those 3 options have fully been explored by Canisius. They still have all 3 options open to them. They just need to commit to one of them and then see if it works. If it doesn't, maybe go for the next and go for the third. That's still something they can do.
And it looks like we're going to be having a play from Canisius College where they're actually all going to be switching up some of the roles. So the tanks are all going to be playing on the support role. All of the supports will now be playing on the DPS role, and all the DPS are going to be playing tanks. So I feel like for Canisius, you're going to spot in the standings where playoffs might not be in your reach. So why not have a little bit of fun and throw some kinky works into the test lab?
Yeah. Maybe it's the big brain strat.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the big brain strat. I mean, we've heard before in the last game where Marion John actually came out and said, you know what, we swapped our main tank and our DPS, so Unique and Max, and that has worked out great for them.
Yeah.
So maybe swapping everybody is even better. You know, if you multiply that result by 6, then maybe it's even worse. We'll see what Numbani brings us, though. Canisius has a lot of ground to cover to come back into this. We know control is not necessarily guaranteed for the rest of the series, but that was not just control that went bad. There was a lot that St. John's just overpowered them in. And Numbani is a map that very much plays into a similar playstyle if you wanted to. And looks like we're going to see a lot of the same from Canisius. Oh, this is from St. John's.
I like what we're seeing from
St. John's.
From
They're
Canisius.
switching up as well.
Yeah, they're going for a little bit of the May Soldier dive.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
there we go.
Yeah, there we go. I was gonna say I think they swapped, and then but there's the side. Okay, so St. John's attacking first, and indeed be doing very similar things to what they did on Oasis. The Genji's coming out. Mr. Koala Man out on the Zarya. Seeing Ana from Liam Lizard. Slurpee on the Mercy again. And on the other side, we'll actually see a defense that I can live with, especially for Numbani, and that is also fairly meta. You have Spudinator on the Soldier, Lily Monster on that Mei. You have the Special K, Winston, Jumanji on the Zarya, Infamy on the Ana, Tiger on the Lucio coming out.
They definitely have the tools needed to do good work against the composition that St. John's is bringing to the table. The question is, how is it all going to play out? Spudinator is going to have to give away control there on the side, and a big mine comes through the focus field. Isn't going to land a good nade from Infamy to keep themselves in the table, but the call has gone out that Ana does not have that nade any longer. And now stuck into a close quarter situation with a Soldier, which they will win that fight. Has Bazaar to support just in case, but Bazaar getting very, very low, having to jump out of the fight completely and will not be able to make it back to the map. But the kill still coming through for St. John's University due to a high charge Zarya onto the low ground. As Jumanji on this high ground hasn't really been able to build up much of a percentage on that Zarya beam, so not as big as a threat. The kill is still coming through for St. John's University. Canisius College now hanging on for a stall at best, but they will have to give up point 1.
Over a little over a minute, and then that percentage will likely tick over. And it's a fairly steady attack. It's not a particularly fast or slow one, just steady on. 115 roughly in order to take that first point. So you'll take that. And St. John's will take it anyways because it just looks like they have there's no plans to slow down really. They're just consistently playing good Overwatch right now. And they're getting the kills. They even throw the aggressive minefield out, block off the... actually, that's the defensive minefield. No, it is the attacker one. It just shows blue because we're in that situation. But ITG... finishing up that last Mei player, and then the card will keep on rolling.
Oh, they're gonna
which it has slowly been doing. Yep, as much as they can.
Yeah, St. John's right now really taking advantage of the mobility that their composition lends to. You have the Zarya who can take care of aggressive attacks or even possible flanks in the backline to help out bubbles with the healers, and the rest of the team just kind of flies around and flutters into places that they need, picks up health packs as needed, and does as much damage as possible. And you can see Tiger trying to chase Rich down, but will pay the price for it, challenging that Echo on the Lucio.
Getting blown up like that. The turret was also in the way, but Bridge still makes it out alive. Gets the kill from Spudinator. Now this card is looking to just enter point B without much of a hitch. There will be a Primal Rage Winston in the way. That health is going to be dropping really quickly, I have a feeling.
And has Melee Monster right next to them, so expect to see that Blizzard soon as well to continue this stall. The Winston's going to go down, but that's allowed for a couple of respawns to kind of get back into the equation. Rich is going to take Tiger out once again, and Tiger right now has got to be molding about this Echo play coming out from Rich, as Rich has just seemed to have their number the entire match today.
You see the same thing happening again. It's Lucio jumping into them. You throw those sticky mines on them, immediately do the focus beam, and they just melt away. Lucio just melting before their eyes. We're going to be seeing now whether or not Bizarre can get a good blade out. Not now, they're stuck in the Graviton, but soon.
Yeah, the multi-core going to come through from Spudinator. Is going to be able to get this payload moving just a little bit. And slowly but surely, Canisius College was able to put a bit of a recipe together to get this payload stopped in its tracks. And the issue is that St. John's is going to be coming into the situation with anything and everything at their disposal.
They barely have, I mean, they have used ultimates, but they just keep getting them back so quickly that you barely notice that they're actually using them. I hope it's Nanoblade time. I really hope we're going to see that. At least it's a Graviton.
Looks like Bizarre's being patient with the blade, doesn't want to get baited into anything. I think they know that Blizzard is definitely still online, so wanting to focus down the Mei first, is able to succeed in doing so, and the rest of the kills just come flooding through. Bizarre is able to find it. Only 3 ults are used right now for St. John's. They're still going to have the Minefield, the Echo, and, oh, never mind, a disrespectful Minefield to shut off a spawn door.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you want to funnel them in one direction, that's definitely a way to do it. They're at least going to be able to spam a lot of damage into this corridor, but Melee Monster still makes it out with the Blizzard.
And the Blizzard on the other side might be soon to follow, as Rich has echoed the Mei. There goes the Blizzard for St. John's University as well. They're able to get a little bit of zone control, but it's easily going to get taken back by St. John's off of the back of that Blizzard as Melee Monster tries to battle the Echo into the back line, but a quick rush away and a couple of sticky mines going to end that fight and help kill the Lucio as well. So it's a special K now to keep this contest alive and bleed a little bit more time off of the clock until they're able to get this payload to the final moment. He's going to die, and there's no life left on the point. Just the Torbjorn all alone here for Canisius College. Able to run around for long enough to get the Lucio back into the mix for a little bit longer. So the clock's going to bleed slightly more, but other than that, St. John's still going to be pretty comfortable. 2 minutes and 50 seconds on that take, and no real hurdles or roadblocks until they got to that third point.
No, there were a little bit of a few longer fights, and they kind of were playing with their food here and there, but it was definitely a very solid just attack. We've seen faster times, but we've also seen teams not completing the map, so St. John's just currently, I wouldn't say outperforming themselves, but they're, at this moment in time, outperforming Canisius College. Let's see if Canisius can come back into this one in order to actually make anything happen. They have to go for their own attack. We're going to get a little bit of a pause in the game because we have a disconnect happen. So we'll see whether that when that comes back. But Steidl, so far, we've seen a few heroes. We've seen a few defeated heroes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not over just yet, is it?
No, I don't think it is. And I think that for Canisius College, this map has this attack in general has been a pretty good teaching point on how St. John's is going to be playing the rest of this game with Overwatch. You know, you have that Echo on the first map, but they mix in the Brawl just so that they can make sure that Canisius can't exploit that in any way, shape, or form. They figure out that they're not going to, so they kind of just go full on with this mobility, this dive composition that allows them to force these 1v1s and put Rich into these situations where it doesn't take much to kind of secure those kills. So the Torbjorn, I think, was a really good pick. It came out a little bit late, so it didn't have as much of an impact as I think that it could have, especially on that second point in the Streets phase, where there's all these nice little nooks and crannies to put that turret to protect your back line and make sure that the Echo doesn't have kind of free reign. But you know, you learn your lesson, you bring it into the next map, and you figure out a way to kind of put that and implement that into your play style, and you can really change the story that's being told. So I think Canisius College, they're looking like they're in a bad spot, but it just takes one map. It takes one good push to put a team back into the momentum to put them back on top.
Yeah, and as we're going back into Numbani, like I said, we have the side swap going on right now, so Canisius is going to go have to attack. And we saw in our previous series that an attack and a defense can look very different from teams.
Hmm.
So we could even go into extra rounds here, and then Canisius just completely runs it back, or both teams keep completing the map over and over because they just cannot defend, but they can attack very well. And I really hope that's going to be the case, because Canisius could really pull out something interesting, but it's still we're still waiting to see something from Canisius at this stage. Like St. John's is doing fine, they're doing great. There's not really anything that we can comment on them there, but we're waiting for Canisius to come out and show us what they got, because so far I think they've just not been able to show what they really have going for them.
I agree. And as far as St. John's go, keep playing your game. Keep playing your game. You're able to find a bit of a chink in the armor of Canisius College. You know, you've obviously done a little bit of scouting on how they like to play, and you're obviously very comfortable in the style that you've already brought to the table. So I don't really see any reason for them to switch that up. And their composition when it comes to the defense is still extremely effective, barring that Zarya. Yeah, you're gonna see Koala Man go over to the Sigma now, just to kind of solidify a little bit of a flag to protect, if you will. If you don't have somebody like a Sigma or a Reinhardt here on the first point, it's really easy for the attacking side to get control of one of the high grounds and then control of the fight.
No, we're gonna be. I'm gonna be very, very interested to see where Canisius and St. John's are going to be bringing this one. We see St. John's setting up with a Doomfist this time on the defense, Mr. Koala Man on the Sigma, Liam on the Zenyatta. Nothing we haven't, well, things we haven't seen from them before, so they're at least switching stuff up a little bit. But Canisius is coming out with a completely new look.
Yeah, Canisius looking to kind of capitalize on people getting into their back line with that Junkrat, and hopefully Spudinator can get a little bit going on this Echo to get into the mix. A beautiful body block comes in from Jumanji to put ITG into a very tricky spot, but save those shields at the very last moment, so we'll be able to get out alive. And St. John's University with this Mercy and this Zenyatta is really just about picks. Pocket Rich, put out the Discords, and let Bazaar go and chase the purple orb.
I mean, this is a spot where you don't often see teams fight, especially not for this long. And that's not boding well for Canisius right now, because at the very least, they need to be able to get out of spawn and around that first corner. And so far, they haven't managed to do that yet. So, I mean, I've always theorized fights taking place here, but not like this.
Yeah, the composition that St. John's is bringing to the table, because of how much mobility it has, it's able to make use of the geometry of the map, basically. So all of these little buildings and small high grounds that exist make it really easy for St. John's to exploit the composition that they have. The Doomfist can set up around corners, as with the Hammond. The Echo is constantly in the sky, being pocketed by some Mercy. And then if you have any inkling or want to get back onto that Zenyatta, you've got to deal with Koala Man on the Sigma, who's kind of keeping everybody safe there in the back.
I'm looking now to see whether Canisius can come out of spawn with those ultimates, bring it to the objective, that thing's going. They're trying to still punish ITG for being in this deep, but they have not been able to do so. And at this point, it kind of seems futile to try. They should probably focus their effort on something else. Like Bazaar.
Yeah, well, Bazaar's going to be going down here if the ult didn't come through, which it does. Going to be able to land with the sound barrier there just in time. So we'll be able to save the skin of the rest of Canisius College, but Mel Monster is going to go down to that Flex. Echo Doomfist there into the backline, looking to find purchase to get that Meteor Strike online. Almost punches off the map, isn't going to do, however. 94% and almost done with the time, so he's going to have to hurry if they want to put that Meteor Strike to any use. Special K able to find a good boop onto Koala Man and begin the push back for Canisius College. Rez is going to come through onto Bazaar, as well as that Transcendence from Llama Lizard to keep everybody online, but nobody paying attention to the fact that Melomonster going to still have this tire online in the back. A 1v1 and a Slippery Mercy is going to get ITG killed, but Melomonster not able to get there in time to save their healer. So the push going to be a little bit disjointed. The Junkrat now onto the point. Yep, they've got a little bit of control. Liam Lizard still being enforced on this Zenyatta, not being rooted out and not being pressured at all for the majority of it, and an Echo onto a Junkrat is going to mean a quick fire as well, as the St. John's University team back into the fight. Bazaar finding two. and they're able to stabilize. Canisius College are going to have to go back to point, and the one thing that I'd like to highlight, Mellow Monster didn't just zealously put out that tire, still has it in the bank.
They do still have it. They have quite a few ultimates coming up in general, and St. John's basically used all of those for defensive and re-entry purposes. They don't really have a lot in the bank, close to a Valkyrie and a Meteor Strike. But this could be a very fruitful attack for Mellow Monster if they get the tire out correctly.
There goes the Valkyrie to start things off. Sound barrier now online for Canisius College. Valkyrie from Slurpee as she looks to match at the mid-air Mercy battle continues. But a Harmony Orb for Slurpee means she's going to live a little bit better and able to get out of that encounter pretty easily. Sputnator with a good start, taking Qualiman out of the fight, so now no shield. Online as the Junkrat tries to meet the Doomfist in the small room, but it's not going to work out. They're going to get taken down. Bizarre back into the mix now on this Doomfist, able to take Special K out of the fight, and a Meteor Strike to follow is going to make it difficult for anybody for Canisius College to have a safe living here on the point. As St. John's looks to take map 2 and only give up 2 ticks.
That's such a shame. We were waiting for that one ultimate, that Riptire, to come out, and unfortunately couldn't get it out because they were taken down by that Doomfist. You see this beautiful almost NYXL lineup, and there's two outliers, but it's one of the beautiful things about this whole event. We get to see the skins that developers have put into the game, that the artists have worked so hard on. So many competitions will not allow those, but Steidel, we're getting them today.
Yeah, always fun to see, you know, what kind of drip, if you will, the characters want to bring to the equation, so they can show off, you know, what they've found. But really now the showing off is all in St. John's favor. Canisius College has had a real issue bringing things to the table. We've seen the late game momentum for Canisius College has been a bit of a theme, where later into the equations you start to see them find some solutions for what's been happening, but it's taking them just a little bit too long to make those changes.
It really is. And unfortunately, it really is. And it's not, I also think a part of it is not just them finding their momentum, but also St. John sort of letting go a little bit, maybe getting a bit too over aggressive, maybe extending a bit too far, getting too big for their bridges, as they say. But unfortunately, Canisius has not been able to capitalize as much as they maybe wanted to or could have. And then we're on a 2-0 scoreline right now. That being said, we're going to throw to a really quick break, give the team some time to warm up or cool down, or, you know, get their thoughts collected. Canisius hopefully coming back with the power to defeat St. John's in a few maps.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, the scoreline below us is telling an unfortunate fate for Canisius College, but due to some technical issues, they will not be able to field all 6 players, and thus will have to forfeit this last match. But you know what? That gets us into the nitty-gritty, where we get to bring a player in to kind of pick at the brain of these teams. So we are going to be bringing in a member from St. John's University.
It's
Hello.
Mr. Koala Man.
There he is.
Hello.
Mr. Koala Man is here and ready. So before I hand you over to Man of Class for the detailed questions, this is the 8th week that your team has been able to not only forego getting 3-0'd, but have been able to you've delivered Canisius College their 8th straight 3-0 as well. So last game of the season, gotta feel good. How's the team energy today?
The team energy, it's pretty high right now. We're really looking forward to playoffs. We're looking forward to having some fun. And I think we kind of showed that off a little bit here today. We were just messing around today, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course,
I
Man
was
of
going to
Class.
say it earlier, but I kind of forgot.
No, it's great to have you here. I always like talking to players after games, no matter how close or unclose they were. Yeah, obviously postseason is coming. I'm actually quite curious to see which teams you are particularly looking forward, or maybe not looking forward to playing against, because the top 10 is kind of shaping out now.
Yeah. So you got to mention. I mean, you can't go forward and say teams that you're looking forward to play against without mentioning UT Arlington and RIT right now. Those teams are doing a really, really good job. They're doing really, really good. They've been solid all year long. So I'm interested to see how that turns out. We've been practicing, we've been working hard, and we're looking forward to see how that goes. Really.
Okay. Good to hear. Obviously today, like you said, you were kind of having fun with it, messing around a little bit. It wasn't a it definitely didn't look like you had guys that expend a lot of effort, to say the least. Of course, that last map, unfortunately, got dropped. Yeah, I mean, we could kind of ask what the comms were like today. Was there any actual in-game calling going out, or was it a lot of joking around as well?
It was a lot of joking around. But I felt I don't know if you guys noticed, but I felt kind of bad, so I backed up. They were pushing
Sure.
spawn and making monkey sounds, so I backed up.
Mm.
But no, they were still doing teamwork and stuff. Like there was a fantastic slam into Rich's bombs, and then he used the beam on Echo. He killed a bunch of them, and then he used his ult, transformed into Roadhog. He was doing a really good job with that stuff. Just like little stuff like that. We were still working together. We just weren't so clear about everything we were doing. Like we were like, okay, I'm gonna slam, and then you just go in and do whatever, and make monkey sounds.
Is autopilot maybe the word?
That feels so mean.
I mean, the thing is, autopilot is one of those modes where you do things as you would sort of at muscle memory almost do them, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not trying or anything, but it's less of a focus moment than just a flow that you're in.
I think that's a good way to
so,
put it. We were still like, okay, we're gonna make sure that we nanoblade this fight. Like we were trying to help. We were really trying to help out Bizarre today. We were like, okay, we're gonna grab to bait out the beat so that he can get a 6K. Stuff like that. And unfortunately, that didn't play out because Rich stole a couple of kills. That's okay.
Rich was a little greedy today.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But no, you know what? That's how he plays, and he's good at it. So, power to him.
The Shido, I think you had one that was pretty important to you, or did I actually steal that away from you a little bit?
No, I've still got one more for you, and it's kind of a bit of a antithesis or a rewording of that first question. But coming into this playoffs, if you had to name like one thing about the team that you think that you guys are really kind of hardcore about changing and improving, what do you think that might be?
I think the one thing that we really gotta change or work on right now is our brawl composition. We've been struggling with it a bit recently. I'm not sure if it's the May. I'm not sure if it's maybe getting a Doomfist or maybe doing something with Lucio. But there's definitely some stuff that we got to work on there. We've been trying to figure it out in scrims, and we're definitely getting better. But it's still there's so much going on in this meta right now with just brawl and getting in there, getting in the face, doing the proper rotations, doing these weird rotations, making sure you're not taking shield damage, blah 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 blah. But it's just stuff that we got to work on. It's a lot of micro stuff. The macro stuff we're doing pretty good at.
It's the meat and potatoes of it.
Yeah, exactly. We got the meat and potatoes. Right now we just got to focus on the side dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are going to have plenty of time to do so while you guys prepare for the playoffs. Are there any shout outs or any plugs, anything that you wanted to throw out into the ether before you said goodbye?
Shout out to the team. Shout out to one of our players that I think is going to be joining the team soon, Chris. He's been helping out a lot recently, and he's been a great benefit to us all, I think. And
nice.
Shout out to shout out to Greg, because I'm sure he's gonna help us in the future when it comes to Brawl Comp.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Koala Man from St. John's University, please take our congratulations with you back to your team. And I'm really looking forward to what you guys have to bring to the table for playoffs.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
And speaking of good nights, that is going to